In a meadow filled with wildflowers, at the edge of a dense forest, there lived a rabbit named Clover. Clover was not like the other rabbits in the meadow. While most of the rabbits scurried from one burrow to the next, racing through the tall grass in search of food and fun, Clover had a much more laid-back approach to life. Her coat was a soft mix of white and gray, with the most delightful little ears that twitched whenever she heard the slightest sound. What made Clover stand out wasn't just her gentle nature or her adorable appearance, but her curious mind and an innate sense of kindness. Clover was born in the middle of spring when the sun was shining brightly and the flowers were just beginning to bloom. Her mother, a wise and gentle rabbit named Thistle, made sure Clover and her siblings grew up surrounded by love and the warmth of family. Clover was the smallest in her litter, but her big wide eyes and soft fur made her irresistibly cute to all who met her. As a young rabbit, Clover was known for her calm and thoughtful demeanor. While her brothers and sisters played and hopped around in the meadow, Clover would often sit quietly in the grass, watching the world around her with a sense of wonder. She was fascinated by everything, the way the wind made the flowers dance, how the bees buzzed from blossom to blossom, and how the shadows of the trees stretched and changed throughout the day. There was something about the stillness that allowed Clover to truly appreciate the beauty of the world, a gift that not many animals had at her age. While her siblings darted from one place to another, Clover would spend her days in the meadow, observing the rhythms of life. She often found herself in the company of the birds, who would serenade her with their songs, or the butterflies, which would flutter gracefully around her. Clover learned the names of all the flowers in the meadow, and could tell the difference between the soft, delicate petals of the daisies and the vibrant, bold blooms of the poppies. She had a natural gift for understanding the world in a way that made her seem older than she truly was. As Clover grew, so did her curiosity. She began to explore further beyond the meadow, venturing into the edges of the forest where the trees grew tall and thick. One of her favorite places was a small sunlit clearing where the ferns grew in lush clusters, and the air smelled of earth and pine. Clover spent many afternoons there, lying on her back and watching the clouds drift lazily by. She would sometimes imagine that the clouds were animals, giant, fluffy rabbits, playful squirrels, or birds flying high in the sky. Her imagination was as vibrant as the world around her, and it gave her a sense of peace and wonder. Clover's quiet nature often made her the perfect listener. Whenever any of the forest animals were feeling troubled, they would find themselves seeking her out. The foxes, with their quick wit, would sit by Clover and talk about their day. The owls, wise and often misunderstood, would share their thoughts with her. And the deer, graceful and gentle, would stop by the meadow to rest and talk to her about the changes they noticed in the forest as the seasons passed. Clover never interrupted. Instead, she listened with her full attention, offering a warm presence that seemed to calm those around her. It wasn't that she had all the answers. It was just that her presence had a soothing effect, and sometimes that was all anyone needed. One particular day, when Clover was a little older, the animals in the forest faced a challenge. A large, swift river had overflowed after a night of heavy rain, and the flood waters had spread across the meadow, threatening to destroy the homes of many animals. The smaller creatures, like the rabbits and squirrels, were particularly frightened. They didn't know where to go or what to do, as their burrows and nests were submerged, and the forest was no longer a safe place to hide. In the midst of this turmoil, Clover remained calm. She gathered the other rabbits and squirrels together and led them to a safe, elevated part of the meadow that was not flooded. She didn't panic or hurry. She simply guided them with confidence, staying steady in her movements as the floodwaters rose around them. Though Clover was small, her ability to think clearly and act with calmness helped others find safety. As they reached higher ground, Clover noticed a small family of mice trapped on the other side of the rising river. They were too scared to cross, and the water was too swift to risk. Without a second thought, Clover bounded over to the edge of the river and called to the mice. She asked them to wait as she searched for a way to help them cross.